Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right, you guys. So we're gonna react to, of course, Cosmic Wonder about the Marvel Studios has a new plan for without Kang the Conqueror. So let's get to it.
Jonathan Majors has officially been fired by Marvel Studios after he was found guilty in court yesterday. And now all eyes are looking at Marvel Studios wondering what's their next move. How do they now move forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with or without Kang the Conqueror being the main villain of the MCU? Well, according to multiple reports from many different insiders, it looks like we have a decent idea of what Marvel Studios' plans are moving forward in the MCU, and it sounds like they are indeed going to move forward without Kang. And we did talk yesterday about how Avengers the Kang Dynasty is most likely not the title of that anymore. In fact, one insider yesterday has backed up his claim that he made in the past that the film really is no longer Avengers the Kang Dynasty, but is simply Avengers 5 right now. But we could essentially have a title for it, which we're going to talk about in this video, and of course talk about how Marvel is moving forward and what their plans and focus are going to be in the MCU. So if you're new, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, and if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items. The winner picks one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. Now, based off of what some insiders are stating, it sounds like we're not going to see the next big bad, the big bad of the multiverse saga, until either right before Avengers Secret Wars or in Avengers Secret Wars itself. What Marvel Studios is apparently going to do is focus on individual stories, with a plan of slowly building up to the threat that we'll eventually see in Avengers Secret Wars. However, this does not mean that they are scrapping everything that has happened in Phase 4 and Phase 5. I've seen a lot of people talking about this online, but let's be clear, Marvel Studios is not scrapping the multiverse saga. It is still the multiverse saga. The multiverse is still going to play a huge part of it. Loki Season 1 and Season 2 still happened. Loki still made the sacrifice to allow the multiverse to exist. Plus, we have projects like Deadpool 3 coming up, which is a huge multiversal film. Plus, Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Marvel is already too far into the multiverse saga to completely scrap it and go a new direction. The multiverse exists, incursions are happening, and our universe, the 616 universe, is going to fall apart. Alex P. from the Cosmic Circus replied to this tweet today stating they don't need to recast Kang, Marvel needs to completely pivot away from the entire Kang storyline, and everyone can just pretend Phase 4 never happened. I understand this thinking, and I'm sure it was an option for Marvel Studios, but here's what Alex P. said in reply to this. They aren't going to do that. Their plan at the moment is to focus on individual story arcs like Devil Reign, the rise of the Midnight Suns, the coming of mutants, while slowly building up to a threat beyond the multiverse that we will never see until 616 is in absolute shambles. Now, I don't think this is a terrible idea, and I definitely don't think that Marvel Studios should scrap the whole multiverse saga. Because, let's face it, they could simply say Phase 4 and Phase 5 were a different saga. They were the multiverse saga. We had some multiverse events happen in these two phases, but now in Phase 6 and beyond, we're going to just dive right into the mutant saga. And it sounds like that's somewhat what they're doing. According to Daniel RPK, right now, Marvel Studios is working on their first X-Men project, which could be introduced before Secret Wars, because it would definitely get people excited for the MCU again with the introduction of the mutants, which Marvel really needs right now, especially with the firing of Jonathan Majors as Kang, and it would tease Phase 7 to get people excited for that as well. Plus, mutants are going to be a huge part of the multiverse saga either way, because Deadpool 3 and Secret Wars, we're going to see a lot of X-Men. But slowly building up to a villain who is seemingly going to be controlling the multiverse is a great way to go while focusing on other major teams and characters. This is a good way to go. Focus more on the individual stories, because let's face it, the storytelling hasn't been, let's just say, what it was in the past. We've had some good ones here and there, but nothing compared to like what the MCU used to be. But as far as the villain is concerned, it seems like Alex Perez is possibly teasing the Beyonder. Now, according to previous reports, a Kang Beyonder variant was supposed to be the main villain for Secret Wars, and there's no reason that Marvel
Should
Studios simply can't keep the Beyonder part of that. There's no reason why they can't just ditch the Kang part and keep the Beyonder as the main villain. After all, that is what happens in the comics. In both stories, the Beyonder is behind everything. And you could introduce him very slowly in the MCU, but he is not the only villain that works. Of course, Doctor Doom would work as well, as Doctor Doom is really the other main villain of the Secret Wars stories. Now, I mentioned we could possibly have a title for the next Avengers film, because according to recent reports, Kang Dynasty is no longer Kang Dynasty, it's just Avengers 5. And according to insider Jeff Snyder, Avengers Kang Dynasty is essentially Secret Wars Part 1 now, with the actual Secret Wars film being Part 2. Yesterday he tweeted, "Scoop confirmed. I told you that the next Avengers movie wouldn't be called the Kang Dynasty. The name Kang only conjures thoughts of Jonathan Majors. I said this before it was revealed that Marvel hired Waldron, and stood by it when the trades kept calling it Kang Dynasty." And he backed up this in a highlighted report from The Hollywood Reporter. The highlighted part reads, "In November, Marvel hired Loki creator Michael Waldron to work on a new draft of what was to have been Kang Dynasty, but is now being referred to as Avengers 5, according to sources." Then Jeff Snyder tweeted again, "Effectively, Secret Wars is now a two-part conclusion to the Avengers saga." And we won't dive too much into that. It's very clear that moving forward in the next saga, it's really going to focus on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, but the Avengers will still be there. They're not just going to go away, but they won't be the main focus anymore. Now, something really important to note is that Marvel Studios has probably had these plans in place for a very long time now. Some people are asking the question, how could these people know this already? They just fired Jonathan Majors. Well, it's really simple. Marvel Studios and Disney knew that it was a possibility that Jonathan Majors was going to be found guilty. And if he was to be found guilty, which he was, they would have to have a plan in place on how to move forward after. They're not just going to sit and wait to find out what happens, then go, oh crap, now we have to figure out what to do. No, since March, they have been figuring out what they want to do if he is found guilty and how to move forward in the MCU either without Kang or recasting him. So Marvel has most likely had a plan in place for a pretty long time. They've essentially had 9 months to make a contingency plan in case Jonathan Majors was found guilty and they had to fire him. It is also worth noting that they could have actually let go of Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror a little bit ago, just simply haven't announced it publicly for whatever reason. But I'll summarize what the reported plan is now. Marvel Studios will move forward without Kang the Conqueror. He could appear for continuity purposes in the MCU, but if he does appear, it will either be CGI or they will recast the character and a new actor will play him, and he'll probably usher in a new villain. If you watched my video yesterday, you know that it's really easy to say that Kang is not a problem anymore thanks to Loki and the TVA pruning every Kang that they could find. It's actually quite simple. Moving forward, Marvel Studios will begin to focus on writing quality projects focusing on introducing new heroes and new teams like the Midnight Suns. This makes sense because we know that pretty much everything is going to come together and every team is going to come together in Avengers Secret Wars. Then they'll work their way up to Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2. The multiverse will fall apart and a multiversal Avengers team will save everything. But then moving forward after that, we will have a soft reboot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which we need now. I'm not saying that this multiverse saga isn't salvageable. I think it really is, and I think Deadpool 3 is going to give us a lot of hope. And if Marvel can just nail some really good projects and nail a new villain, it could still be an absolutely incredible saga. But let me know your thoughts about what Marvel Studios' new plan is in the comments down below, and who do you think should be the new villain? Should it be Doom? Should it be the Beyonder? Or somebody else? Let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video.
Alright, I'm not gonna say anything much though, but I am gonna say this: that's a waste of a character of King of Conqueror. We literally just introduced King of Conqueror, what, Loki season 1. That was it, and then until we met the actual King the Conqueror in the Quantumania, an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, and it sucks that and it's some bullshit that they just literally just waste a character that we about to see, you know. I don't know what else to say, but like I said, that's some bullshit. wasted a character, a King and the Conqueror. That's some bullshit. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. So, but in case I see you guys in the next video, gotta be safe out there. God bless you all. See you guys later.